In 2008, after years of public course play, 61 golfers with a dream joined the brick companies to privatize the golf club at South River. Nearly 10 years and hundreds of members later, the golf club at South River is one of the most pristine golf clubs in the area. Join us as we talk to some of the members, the staff, and even one of the founding members as we discover what makes this club the choice for our Annapolis area neighbors.
Hello, and once again, we're here at the Golf Club at South River to bring you the next installment of our short series on the local business that you may not know too much about. Today, we are continuing the series on the Golf Club at South River and hope to bring a bit of the links to your ears. This is John Fernay with Annapolis, and I am joined today by Paul Matthews, who is one of the founding members of the club. Not just any member, but a founding member. Welcome, Paul.
Hi. Good to be here.
All right, you're a founding member. I know numbers are important. What number?
We're actually number 4.
You're number 4. So you didn't get in line quite quick enough, but it was pretty darn quick.
Well, it was actually my wife's favorite number, so it was her request that we be number 4.
There you go. Wise man to always defer to the wife.
Absolutely.
Well, the Golf Club of South River is celebrating a decade as a private club, and as a founding member, number 4. I got to ask, what did you see 10 years ago in this? I mean, it was a public course. We know that before. Did you play on it when it was a public course?
Yes, I did. I played on it a couple of times. At the time, I've been a golfer for a number of decades, and when we were in the Annapolis area, we were looking for a private club, and there really wasn't anything outside of the Navy Club. You'd have to go north or south, and it just wasn't anything convenient. So, we played a lot of the public courses, in the area here, which is good. We enjoyed that, but there's nothing like a private course.
Well, what did you see a decade ago when they said, well, let's take this public course here in Edgewater and make it into a private club that made you say, hey, I need to jump on this boat?
Yeah, there was a couple of things. And I think, primarily the big distinction that we saw here as opposed to other private clubs was the underwriter, which was the brick companies. We knew of the brick companies, prior to South River.
Sure.
And we knew what a good, successful company that it was in managing real estate.
It wasn't Billy Bob's Bait and Tackle taking on the
Exactly. And they've been in business, over 100 years now. They stepped forward and said, look, this is something that we want to do, and we're going to stand behind this. And a lot of times what you see in the golf business is developments, have big ideas, and for a variety of reasons they don't pan out. Or you'll have a private club that's been around for a while and they'll lose membership for a variety of reasons. Clubs start to deteriorate, and then you start having assessments and so on and so forth. But their concept was very different. They knew how to manage real estate. And they knew that there was going to be a big commitment on their part from a financial standpoint and also from a time standpoint in order to build it to where they thought they could bring it. So I think primarily the big discriminator for me was the brick companies.
Well, I know it's funny. When we talked to Lex, he had said that Exxon, I believe, was developing this property at one point, and they had decided that they wanted to go with somebody local, which was really a huge thing for this. I mean, the Bernies obviously, as you know the area. They have other businesses in the area. Their headquarters, the brick company's headquarters, is a stone's throw from where we are right now. And they've been a very good corporate citizen. I mean, way back in the days with Chesapeake Sailing School and the environment and the environmental building that they've got there as well.
That's another important aspect to that is because they were local. Mm-hmm. This wasn't some big, outside developer or big corporation coming in, to change this place. And on beyond that, we watched South River, the whole development area develop. When we first moved here, it was all woods. So we saw that happening over a period of time, and we saw it transform itself into what it's become today. So we knew that there was the foundation was there to build upon, and we just felt very strongly that the brick companies were in a unique position to be able to realize the potential here.
Well, you're talking about the transformation, the transition, and everything else. What have you seen in your 10 plus years of the golf club at South River when it was called? What was it called? I don't even remember what it was called when it was public.
South River Golf Course or something like that. I don't remember myself, to be quite honest with you. Well, where do we start? There are some things that are still here that were here when we started. I think, and maybe John had shared this with you. We were here when they started with the card tables and the paper plates and the hot dogs.
That's been a theme throughout the whole thing. Hot dogs on the barbecue.
Yeah. So you had to start somewhere, and that was kind of funny in the first season that we were here. The pavilion was here and continues to support a lot of different functions. The main building here that we're in right now was a very different format. Basically, it was a standard size building with a pro shop. In the middle, they had cart barns underneath of the building, and up top was a few offices. So it was a very basic building. There wasn't anything outstanding about it.
Pretty utilitarian.
Yeah, and they had a very basic food service, mainly designed for golfers as they were moving through the course, but not a sit-down type of thing.
And look at us now.
Exactly.
I mean, I know the big thing that everyone has mentioned that I've spoken with is the addition last year of the patio.
The patio was actually in a long-term plan. Probably a lot of people don't realize that we're here. And this is the other thing that I thought was very unique about the brick companies is that they didn't come in and say, this is what we're going to do, and you all need to follow. They said, this is what we would have envision, and we'd like your all's help to help us get there. So what they did is they set up an advisory board, and they asked a few of us to join the board. And we started out meeting in their offices, and I forget the frequency. I'm gonna guess maybe monthly or every other month. And they solicited ideas from us. And to their credit, they listened to a lot of what we said because you could see what they actually executed.
So this is a brick company built facility, yet a member formed facility.
Yes.
To a degree. I mean, you've really sort of formed the direction and the way it is moving there.
And one of the things that I talked to Mike about early on is because they were weighing the idea of how much investment do we make, and when do we make it, working towards, building not only the facilities, but at the same time trying to build a membership and trying to find that balance. And what we ended up doing was basically taking one project per year over a 5-year plan. So initially, they started out with just doing the bunkers, rebuilding the bunkers. They were in bad shape at the time. There were too many of them on some of the holes, and a lot of the holes, they didn't drain well. So they reshaped a lot of the bunkering, and it really enhanced the course. And then they invested into the practice facility. At the time, the practice facility was only in irons only, and it was very rudimentary. It wasn't anything that was nice to look at. So they made a big investment there and became not only the facility that it is today, but allowed us to take lessons. They even had a division, although they never did it, but they had a vision of actually having a little par 3 on the driving range at different times. So I think that's why they set up flags and bunkers out there. From there, what we did is we looked at the building itself. And instead of trying to do everything at once, it was more of an incremental thing. So initially what they did is they took the pro shop that was on the main floor, moved it out to a trailer, and then redid the what is now the bistro downstairs into a nice bar and restaurant.
It is a beautiful room down there. And next week, we're going to be talking with Chef Frederick Daniel a little bit about the food service there. Are you a lifetime golfer?
I like to think so. I started when I was in college, and I guess I got away from it for a few years and got back to it in the late 80s.
Life tends to interfere?
Life interferes.
Where did you go to school?
I went to the University of Virginia.
Well, as you've seen the club grow, I mean, obviously it's grown by leaps and bounds in the last decade since you came on board. What are your thoughts? What would you like to see looking forward for the next 10 years?
That's a good question. And, some of the things that I'd like to see has actually started to happen. And when I first met John and first met Mike, we talked about expanding the game of golf to a larger population. At the time, we had a pretty good membership in terms of men, and the women's group was growing. But what we forgot was how difficult this game is to come into. just strictly from learning how to play the game and being on the size of a course like this. So I brought up the idea of really trying to focus on women and on juniors. And one of the ways you can do that is make the course more playable by shortening it. So we went back and forth about some ideas, and I came up with the family tees. So those are the family tees that you see out in the fairway, which shortens the course and allows young players or novices to play the game and not be so intimidated. I played a course yesterday in Central Maryland that had some pretty intimidating par fives. You know, somebody like that's been playing golf for a while, you get to a par five and you think, oh, this is great. You know, a couple of big whacks and, and plenty of room to hit it. But if you're a novice golfer and you look out there, you're just like, oh my God, I'll never get there.
Sure.
We forget that. Every once in a while, I'll play with a novice golfer, and we all started there. It was something to as a reminder of what where you were at one point. So I think growing the game, you've heard that a lot, I think is real important. So they've been very good about trying to understand the different types of memberships to offer. So, for example, they had a senior membership that they came up with that said you can play the course anytime you like, Monday through Friday. Seniors are, they're retired mostly.
Sure.
And, they let the weekend, be for the folks that are working full time. So that was a smart thing to do. And they've come up with some other ideas as well.
I know they've got the social memberships and the family memberships and the fitness memberships and everything else, which is
the fitness expansion was really good. That was the second phase. This building was built actually in two phases. And you mentioned earlier about the patio. The patio was actually a third phase.
Okay.
So it was initial phase was the bistro downstairs. Then the second phase was the building that you see here with the great room out here and the facilities in the first floor with the locker rooms and the fitness center. And then the third phase is what was just built last year. So that was something that they had actually planned to do several years ago.
You mentioned that you golfed at another course in Central Maryland this week earlier. Where does South River fall in your experience as far as a challenging course? And I don't know that a challenging course is necessarily what you want, as opposed to just an enjoyable course.
It's a good question. When we first started here, South River, in terms of maintenance, was about pretty average. And I felt that it was a difficult course. One of the things I said to my wife, who's also an avid golfer, is that if we get good playing this course, we're going to be able to play any course, pretty comfortably. So one of the things they did, in addition to the bunkering, they actually changed some of the holes. They have a short par 4 now that used to be a par 5, much more playable. They also opened up the fairways a little bit. They took down a lot of trees, opened up some areas that you could actually play from. There's still a lot of carries on this course, but they did things to improve the playability of the course. So I think that the course today, if I think about what it was 10 years ago, is much more playable than it was, but it's still a very challenging course.
I guess that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think what used to be the front 9, now the back 9, is probably more playable than the other 9 across the road.
I've asked a couple of the other members, what's your most challenging hole on the course yourself?
That's a good question. I usually struggle with, some of the par 3s, but I got to say, I'm trying to think now that it used to be number 14, but it's now, I guess it would be number 5. It's a short dog leg to the left.
Okay, so we got numbers all over because I asked.
Yeah, it requires 2 precise shots to make par on that hole.
2 is proven to be challenging to some of the other members from what I'm hearing, but it's.
That's the old number 11, and that is a very difficult hole. You make par on that hole, you've done a good job.
What wisdom does a founding member have as we wrap up for a new member coming in or somebody coming in? Any words of wisdom that you might offer?
Well, just know that the place that you see here today has been through a lot. There's been a lot of commitment from a lot of people to get it where it is today. No club or golf course is perfect. Every course could use improvement. So, I would say as words of wisdom would be to be patient. Talk to the management here because they do tend to listen and be responsive. And if you see areas for growth, not only in the game but in the club itself, feel free to speak up because they do listen.
That sounds pretty solid to me. Hey, Paul, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for taking a few minutes to learn about the golf club at South River. If you missed the other episodes, please go back and have a listen. Next time, as we wrap up our series, we delve into the food with executive chef Frederick Daniel.
Members want to be here. It's no longer about the golfing experience more than it is the social experience. And members are beginning to see that the club offers a total value. It's a lot more of an electric environment.
And since greatness does not come without sacrifice, we'll also be checking in with the club's fitness director, Jesse Cooper.
The Golf Club at South River welcomes you to be a member for a day. Enjoy a round of casual golf, meet our members and staff, and enjoy the private club lifestyle as our guest. Call for your visit today. Beth is ready to show you around. 410-798-6004. 410-798-6004.